So during the next 2 minutes of the video, I haven't noticed the problem yet, but look closely, you might pick up on it. See if you can spot the cause of the belt misalignment.
Okay, guys, I got some extra shear pins. That link will be in the description where I got them. But also, I wanted to get a couple extra belts because I've heard that some people have trouble with belts going bad quickly, and other people seem to not have that problem at all. So I thought I'd just order an extra belt or two. They're two different belts. I'll show you those in a minute. But basically, it's just 2 screws on this side, those holes right there that pop this cover off. This cover just sits right on top here over the belts. There's 1 bolt on the other side that's in that hole. That's on that side that you just take off. They're 310 millimeters, no big deal. And then it takes a little finagling to wiggle it up, but you can get it up. Now, you can, I'm not a mechanic, but you can see just by looking at this serpentine belt here, it is not in alignment, and you can see why people have trouble with it shredding. So we've got to figure that out. I really just took this off because I thought this is pretty new. I might still be able to see part numbers. So I'm going to put these part numbers in the description below so you can see as well what they are for this particular model. And this is a wide belt that has teeth on one side. This is just a V belt right here. Now this V belt also has a number. It's a little hard to read. It's mostly worn out, but I'll get that for you as well in the description. Now this is what engages the blades up here. Okay, and so we'll just squeeze this handle over here, and so I'm going to squeeze this handle down just like this, right? And that's what engages your blower. And so all that does is put tension on the belt. Otherwise, this belt, if the engine's running, this shaft is spinning, right? But it's not turning this belt. So when you squeeze this, obviously that tensioner right there, that little wheel right there, goes in and tightens the belt. Okay, that one looks like it's in alignment. When I look around it, it looks like it's in alignment with everything. It doesn't look like it's going to shred. But this thing is way, way out. And the interesting thing is this right here. You can do this with it. Okay, so I'm not sure. We're going to run it and see if this straightens up when it's running. But if it sits like this when it's running, it's no wonder these belts are wearing out like they're not supposed to. So if this is the case where that's, needs a shim or something like that, we're going to try to get that figured out so that doesn't do that. All right.
So did you spot the problem?
Oh, well, I think I see the problem already. Now, this literally has probably less than an hour of use on it. And look what's happened already. Okay, it may be hard to see, but this is a shaft, a rod that goes all the way across here, comes over to the other side, and see, it's hard for me to put my hand here without blocking everything, but this shaft goes right here. Okay, so it runs across here. It's obviously attached on this side over here, but over here it's not. And so this shaft, when you push the shaft this way, that's what straightens the wheel up. Okay, but look at this. So that's obviously missing. So we got to replace that. It looks like something was there, but it came out during operation. So maybe that'll keep that straight so the belt won't shred. Okay, I might have just solved the problem.
But before we replace the bolt, let's just see how it runs with the belt out of alignment.
Okay, we're going to start this electrically here without pulling on it. I haven't done this before, so hopefully this will work. Make sure your cord isn't too big. Some cords have a big lug that sticks down right here. I had to get a different cord than my normal one. Okay, we'll plug that in. Keys in. We'll put the choke on 3/4 or half because it seems like it doesn't want to start as much on the little choke. You're only supposed to prime this a few times. Okay, let's see what happens. The only way I know to stop this is to pull the key out. So I just kind of leave it out like that, but look what happened. The belt just jumped. And if you're not mechanically, look like it totally jumped off. So we gotta, and the spring came off. So we've got to get this belt back on and get a bolt in there and get this thing straightened back up. Okay, so we'll get our metric bolt kit out. I bought this years ago from Amazon. In fact, I bought a second one because I ended up using most of the bolts out of it. And it's got a bunch of washers and nuts in it too, but the nice thing is it's all labeled and what sizes they are and what thread pitch, which is kind of cool. I have an SAE set too, but I also went through a bunch of my old bolts and used a thread tool. I don't know what you call this thing. And this thing is nice because it has SAE and metric, and it has, You can put your bolts in one side, or you can thread into nut in the other side and see what pitch they are, and if they're metric or SAE. So, and some bolts I can't tell very well, and so I'd figure out which were the M6 by whatever, or the M8 or whatever, and then I'd just drop them in here, and now, and so I have some various sizes. So this is the metric side here. We could thread one of these in and, twist it around and see if the thread pitch matches, but let's just see, got it kind of lined up there. This is actually the bolt that holds the cover on. And let's just see if this thread pitch matches this. Oh, and it does. Okay, so whatever this is the bolt we need. Okay, so let's thread this into here. It's too small for M7. It's an M6 for sure. That threads right into M6 1.0 right there. So all we need to do is come over here and find an M6, 12 millimeter. There's a 16 millimeter. 20 millimeters is too long. The 16 is about right. It threads most of the way in. So what we're going to do is a couple things. We're going to use a lock washer. We're also going to clean it out just in case there's any oil from the factory or from the bolt, I don't know, or from whatever. We're just going to take some brake cleaner and squirt it in there. Now that's just of course to wash the grease out or any oils. And then we're going to use some thread locker on the threads. This is red thread locker, obviously. It's all I have. My blue tube is dry, so this is what I'm going to use. Okay, I've been trying to get the belt back on from up here. I just can't do it. So I pulled off the bottom skid plate. I guess that's what you call it. It just has 4 little bolts that hold it on. There's the 4th one. But look at this inside here. This is all belt residue. I mean, that's all from belts, from the belt rubbing badly. So what I did was I took off this bracket that holds the belts in place. It's also the pulley bracket or the tensioner bracket that holds the tensioner wheel on. And this belt, it doesn't look terrible, but that belt was slipping like crazy. Maybe it was barely engaging the drive. So let's just look underneath here. Get the belt on like this. Okay, and now our pulley doesn't wiggle around. Okay, you may have noticed this before I did, but look at these grooves in here. Now, so this residue might not be from a belt, it might just be plastic residue from the pulley hitting this. And so this, there's like 4 different marks here. None of those marks line up with the actual width of the pulley. And so probably my guess is, this is the pulley that engages the blower. This is the pulley that engages the drive. So I think that probably what was happening is when this rod right here was loose and this drive pulley was bouncing around, that it was probably making grooves at different places. So I'm just going to smooth this out and get rid of it, and so there's no plastic sticking up. And hopefully this solved our problem. So we've got it up on the stands. Let's just start this and run it. And let's just look it over and make sure everything looks like it's running and tracking, doing what it's supposed to do since I've had it all apart. This little shield here that keeps this belt from jumping off looks like it's right back in the same place it was. So that looks good. Let's just plug it in here though, and let's see. Yeah. All right, now I'll put the key in. Turn the choke to half. Let's prime it.